The stars were quiet. The space station floated silently near the edge of the trade zone. Lights blinked slowly in the cold dark. Captain Trevik, a young alien with green skin and sharp black eyes, stared at the screen. "There it is," he said. His voice almost a whisper. His crew leaned forward. A large human ship drifted far away, cold and dead. It was black, covered in marks and symbols that had faded with time. No power. No signal, no movement. "It's been floating for 200 years, his second officer Marn said. That ship was marked "Do Not Approach" by the Council. Trevik's fingers hovered over the controls. He had heard the stories, rumors, really. Long ago, during the Great War, the humans built ships that could destroy entire moons. But after the war, Earth went silent. No one had seen a human ship in 2 centuries. "I want a scan," Trevik said. "Captain," Marn warned, "the Council order is clear. That ship is forbidden." Trevik smiled. "Do you believe in ghost stories, Marn?" "No," she replied, "but I believe in consequences." Trevik ignored her. "Send a scan, low level only, just a peek." Marn hesitated, then nodded to the technician. A soft hum filled the bridge. The ship's scanner reached out, touching the old vessel with invisible fingers. For 1 second, everything was fine. Then the lights flickered. The hum turned into a sharp screech. The screen turned white. Sparks flew from the panels. "Cut the scan," Trevik shouted. "It's not responding." Yelled. The technician dot suddenly. Everything stopped. The lights returned. The screen blinked once, twice. Then showed something new, a symbol. A red circle with a black slash through it. Underneath, glowing in human language, "You were warned." Trevik stepped back. "What is that?" "I think," Marn said slowly, "we just woke it up." News spread fast. Within hours, 5 other species had gathered near the area. Observation ships, traders, even spies. Everyone wanted to see the forbidden human ship that had just spoken. From a distance, it still looked lifeless. But sensors told another story. The ship was charging power. Old, unknown human energy systems were turning on. Very slowly. Ambassador Geltak of the Vakari Council arrived 2 days later. "Who scanned it?" he demanded. Trevik stood before him. "It was a minor scan." "I didn't mean to. You touched it." Geltak said coldly. "The rule was simple. Do not approach. Do not disturb." Trevik lowered his eyes. "It was a mistake." "No," Geltak said. "It was an invitation for death." Suddenly, alarms rang across the station. Energy spiked from the human ship. A voice shouted. On the screen, a wave of light burst out from the ship, shooting into deep space. It looked like a signal. "It's calling." "For something," Marn said. "Calling who?" Trevik asked. No one answered. But everyone was thinking the same thing. Humans. 3 days later, the stars blinked. A large object appeared out of nowhere, just above. The human ship, bigger, newer, silent. It had no lights, no ID, no flag. Just a single glowing line across its front. A message came through. Only one line, in perfect galactic standard. "Who touched our ship?" Inside the station, silence fell. No one answered. "Send them a message," Geltak said quickly. "Say it was an accident. Say we'll leave." But the human ship did not wait. It moved for the first time in 200 years. It turned slowly, its front facing the nearest observation cruiser. A low rumble filled the air. Not sound vibration. The kind that shook inside bones. Then, boom. The observation cruiser vanished. No explosion, no debris. "Just gone." Geltak stared at the screen, his face pale. "They've returned, the Terran shadows." Trevik swallowed hard. "I thought Earth was gone." "No," Geltak said. "They never left. They just waited." Panic spread like fire. Ships left the area. Stations powered down. Governments issued alerts. Stay away from the zone. The forbidden ship became a death sentence. But not everyone listened. A group of pirate scavengers saw an opportunity. Humans don't scare me, their leader, Yerk, said. That ship's full of tech. We'll be rich. They approached during night cycle, hoping no one would see them. They used a small ship to land on the old vessel's surface. At first, nothing happened. The metal felt cold, dead. This thing's ancient, Yerk laughed. They were bluffing. He opened a panel on the side, pulled out a glowing power cell. The ship spoke again. This time, in every language at once. Violation detected. Final warning ignored. Consequence protocol activated. Yerk dropped the cell. Suddenly the stars changed. Dozens of points of light appeared across the galaxy, places where Earth had left old war machines, hidden and forgotten. They began to wake up. A moon turned black and crumbled. Space station vanished in a red flash. A planet's atmosphere ripped open. No sound, no threats. Just action. The Terran shadows didn't send armies. They didn't speak. They punished, back. At the station, Jaltak and Trevik watched in horror as reports came in from all sectors. It's not just about that ship, Marn said. That ship was a key, a warning system. We broke it. They're cleaning the infection, Jaltak whispered. They see us as disease. Can we talk to them? Trevik asked. Can we apologize? No, Jaltak sighed. They warned us already, twice. Just then, the new human ship sent another message. Return what was taken, or be taken. Everyone turned to Trevik. The power cell, Marn said. The pirates took it. They're already gone, Trevik replied. Dead, probably. The human ship began moving again. The only option left was to act fast. Jaltak made a decision. Send out this message to all known systems. Do not go near the human zones. Do not scan, touch, or even look. And if someone does, Marn asked. Jaltak looked at the dark ship, now glowing like a sleeping beast ready to wake fully. They won't get a third warning. Now years later, the forbidden ship still floats in space. Quiet again, watching. It became a legend. Some call it the sleeping sword. Others say it's alive, but one thing is clear. No one dares go near it anymore. And on every station, in every language, a sign is posted near space maps. Do not touch the Terran relics. You were warned. The station floated in silence. Everyone was afraid to speak. Captain Trevik stood at the control deck, staring at the screen. The old human ship still drifted in space, but something had changed. Lights now blinked slowly on its hull, red lights, like eyes opening after a long sleep. Trevik whispered, "What have I done?" Marn, his second officer, checked the monitors. "The signal is spreading. Every system around us is picking it up." Trevik rubbed his face. "We only scanned it for 1 second." Marn looked at him. 1 second was enough. A technician across the room turned in panic. "Captain, the human ship just sent out another pulse. It's a high-frequency burst, heading straight into deep space." Trevik's eyes narrowed. "Is it a message?" "It's too fast and too powerful to be a normal message," the technician replied. "I think it's a beacon." Trevik leaned over the console. "A call for help?" "No," Marn said slowly. "It's not calling for help. It's calling for judgment." No one spoke. By the next day, the galaxy was buzzing. Emergency meetings were called across several systems. Scientists, generals, and diplomats watched the replay again and again, how one scan triggered a deadly human response. Many tried to explain the ship's warning signal. Some said it was automated. Others believed it was alive, controlled by human AI still guarding old battlefields, but deep inside, they all felt the same cold fear. Earth may have returned. Ambassador Jaltak stood before the Galactic Council. "I warned you," he said. "The Terran shadows are real. An old merchant from the corner raised a hand. The humans are extinct. We haven't heard from them in 2 centuries. Exactly, Jaltak snapped. They haven't spoken. They've been watching. The chamber went quiet. Jaltak continued. That ship was not floating without purpose. It was placed there, a warning beacon. A test, and someone triggered it. Back on the station, strange things began to happen. One of the repair drones, which had scanned the ship, shut down without cause. Another exploded in a storage bay. Gravity systems glitched. Lights flickered for no reason. It felt like the station was falling sick. Trevik sat alone in his quarters, watching footage of the ship over and over. The red lights still blinked. Always the same pattern. He tapped the com. Marn, any updates? We've lost communication with 3 other ships near the zone, she said. No distress signal, just ... silence. Trevik stood up. That's not normal. No, Marn replied. And there's more. That human ship, it's growing warmer. Something inside is waking up. 2 days later, it arrived. A new ship that came out of nowhere, silent and massive. It was darker than space, like a shadow given shape. No lights. No sound, just presence. It floated above the forbidden ship, not moving, not speaking. Then a single message came through. Who touched it? Every screen on the station showed the words. Trevik's mouth went dry. Jaltak, now visiting in person, stepped forward. We must answer. Trevik shook his head. They don't want answers. They want someone to blame, Marn interrupted. Sir, the signal they sent days ago, it reached the outer systems. What happened? Jaltak asked. She hesitated. A listening post was erased. 1 second it was there. Next second just dust. Trevik stepped back. Erased by what? No weapon, just energy. They tried to send a reply to the human ship. It didn't answer. Instead, the forbidden ship began to change. Panels opened. Energy leaked out, glowing blue and green. Strange symbols lit up along its sides, ancient human codes. It was no longer dead. It was alive. Suddenly, alarms rang. Power surge. Someone shouted, the ship's weapon system just activated. Yelled another. Jaltak grabbed Trevik. Get everyone out of here. Before Trevik could respond, the human ship fired. But it didn't fire at the station. It fired into empty space. And where the beam went. Another ship disappeared. A council spy ship. The one closest to the human vessel. No sound. No fire. Just vanished, Jaltak whispered. It's showing us what it can do. Marn looked. Terrified. This is the first warning. Trevik called an emergency meeting. We must leave the area, he said. We're not safe here. A trade captain protested. You think the humans will destroy a whole station over a scan? Trevik stared at him. Do you want to wait and find out? But it was already too late. That night someone broke into the scanning bay and tried to steal one of the energy cores. The thief was a desperate trader. He believed the core was human tech worth millions. He made it out of the bay, but not out of the station. The moment he stepped into his ship, it exploded cleanly. Silently. Just a puff of light. Cameras caught the moment. But the footage was corrupted. Blank. Just white static. No one saw what destroyed him. Only that he vanished. Trevik watched the footage in silence. Marn said softly, it wasn't a warning this time. He nodded. It was punishment. By morning, the new human ship sent another message. This time, it had sound. A deep, hollow voice played across every com system, across every frequency. The line was crossed. The first judgment is complete. Others may follow. Ships began. Leaving the zone in fear, stations powered down. Even council members fled. No one dared question the meaning now. Earth was awake, and it remembered everything. Later that day, Trevik looked out the window. The human ship had turned slightly. It now faced the station. We need to leave, he said to Geltak. The ambassador agreed. We'll issue a full ban on this area. It must become sacred ground, like a grave. And if someone ignores the ban? Marn asked. Trevik looked into space. Then we all suffer. Years passed. The forbidden ship remained, still glowing, still drifting, but no one touched it again. It was not a ruin. It was a warning. Memory of what humans had been and what they still were. Some say the ship waits for another violation. Others believe it is watching the stars. But all who pass by it now know one truth. You were warned. The stars hung still. Nothing moved. Nothing blinked. And yet, deep in the quiet darkness, something impossible floated. Marn stood at the observation deck, eyes wide. The human ship was still there, silent, enormous, and ancient. But now something about it had changed. It's not just waking up, she whispered. It's thinking. Captain Trevik joined her. He watched the ship for a long moment. No engines, no movement, no crew. But it's charging energy again, he said. That should not be possible. It's old, Marn replied. Too old. It should have died long ago. Trevik shook his head. And yet, it's still here. They weren't alone on the station anymore. A science ship from the Galactic Core had docked. With it came two experts, one from the Zinari species and another from a forgotten Earth colony. Dr. Caro, the Zinari, was tall, thin, and cold. This ship is not just a war machine, he said, studying the data. It's a riddle. What kind of riddle? Marn asked. Dr. Caro's partner, Dr. Ellen from Mars Outpost, answered instead. She was human, but born far from Earth. I've seen some old Earth tech, she said, but nothing like this. These codes, they're not from any known system. Trevik looked at the screen. Strange symbols were appearing on the side of the human ship, glowing in slow waves patterns, almost like a heartbeat. What does it mean? Trevik asked. Ellen stepped forward. I think it's scanning us. That night, the station lost all contact with its outer defense drones. Every signal was cut off at the same time, clean, precise, without any damage alerts. Marn checked the logs again and again. The drones didn't explode, she said. They just stopped existing. Trevik's face turned pale. That ship saw them as a threat. No weapons were fired, Ellen said. This was something else. A field, maybe. Or displacement. Tech, Caro crossed his arms. It doesn't matter what it was. The fact is clear. That ship can erase things without leaving a trace. Marn whispered, that's not technology. That's power. Word of the ship spread again, faster this time. Every major species sent spies, listening posts, or cloaked ships to watch it. But they all stayed far away. No one dared approach. Except 1. The Halek Syndicate, a criminal network known for stealing alien weapons, sent a stealth unit. Their ship entered the zone silently, hiding in the shadow of a passing asteroid. They thought they were invisible. They were wrong. Trevik and his crew watched from the station as the Halek ship appeared on sensors. They're going to try to land on it, Marn said. Idiots, Trevik muttered. Warn them. He opened a channel. Halek ship, leave immediately. That vessel is not safe. But the Halek's captain only laughed. We don't take orders from cowards. Seconds later, their small ship extended landing claws toward the human relic. And then, without a flash, without a sound, the Halek ship turned into dust. The dust scattered and vanished. Dr. Caro stared in awe. The ship didn't attack. It rejected them. It's protecting itself, Ellen said. Trevik felt cold. Or it's protecting us from what's inside. That was the night it sent a message. Every screen on the station lit up with red light. A voice came through, not a real voice, but something artificial, deep and mechanical. Yet it sounded alive. Do not enter. This vessel is sealed by Earth Command. You are not authorized. Marn gasped. Earth Command? That system shut down 200 years ago. Trevik turned to Ellen. What do you know about Earth's final war? She hesitated. Not much, records were destroyed. But I heard. Whispers, stories. Like what? That Earth created something too dangerous to use. A ship built to fight a war that never ended. Trevik looked back at the ship. This is that ship? Ellen nodded. They called it Nemesis. It wasn't meant to fight. It was meant to end everything. The next morning, a probe was sent to scan the ship again. Just a basic scan, nothing direct. No contact. But the moment the scan hit the outer shell, the station received a warning. This is your final instruction. Stand down. Then, every screen showed a new image. A star system. Unknown. Unnamed. Marn looked confused. What is that place? Ellen froze. It's not a place, it's a grave. Dr. Caro checked the archive. Yes, this system vanished 80 years ago. No cause, we thought it was a cosmic event. It wasn't, Ellen whispered. It was Nemesis. Panic spread. Geltak returned to the station in person, furious. We should have destroyed that ship when we first saw it. Trevik shook his head. You can't destroy something that refuses to die. Geltak slammed his fist. Then bury it. Caro replied calmly. That would be the same as challenging it. And it does not respond. Well to threats. Geltak stared at the others. Then why does it still wait? Marn spoke for the first time in minutes. Maybe it's not waiting for us. Maybe it's waiting for them. Everyone turned to her. She continued. What if Earth left Nemesis out here in case someone came looking for a fight? Ellen nodded slowly. A silent guard, a final wall. Trevik added, but we woke it up. Later that day, something new happened. The human ship turned. Slowly, gracefully. It now faced deep space, away from the station. Then a second signal burst out, this one massive. It traveled across thousands of light years in seconds. What did it do? Marn asked. Dr. Caro didn't answer right away. He looked at his screen. Then at Elin. Then at Trevik. I think it just sent a message to Earth. Silence fell. Trevik asked, and what did it say? Ellen read the translated log. Her hands trembled. It said, Nemesis online. Protocol active. Enemy contact detected. Trevik's voice cracked. It thinks we're the enemy? No, Caro said softly. It thinks the war is starting again. The forbidden ship is still there. Still watching. Still waiting. It has no crew. No fuel. No master. And yet, it moves. And when it speaks, the stars listen. Because Nemesis is not just a ship. It is a memory. It is a warning. It is the shadow of Earth's rage, and it should not exist. But it does. And now, the galaxy must decide listen to the warning, or suffer the same silence that erased a star system long ago. Because once Nemesis moves again, nothing will be the same. The stars above the station flickered strangely that night. They blinked once, then again. Then went black. Captain Trevik sat on the command bridge, watching the long-range sensors. His hands were cold. His voice was quiet. Something's coming, he said. Marn leaned forward beside him. Her screen showed nothing yet, just empty space. How do you know? Trevik didn't take his eyes off the black sky. Because the human ship turned again. It's facing the void. On the monitor, the ancient Terran ship Nemesis stood still like a sleeping beast. Red warning lights still pulsed along its frame. Strange codes still glowed from its hull. And now it faced the edge of the galaxy, unmoving. But alert. Then it happened. The stars blinked and a new ship arrived. No flash, no noise, no engine trail. It simply appeared, massive, dark, silent, a shape that looked more like a shadow than a ship. Every screen across the station went blank. Lights flickered. Alarms died. The station fell quiet, except for one sound, a low hum. The humans had returned. JL single quotes tag. The alien ambassador stormed into the control room moments later. His face was pale, and his voice shook with fear. "What is that?" he shouted. "Where did it come from?" Trevik spoke slowly. "It's not from any known species." Marn turned her head. "It's not just a warship, it's something else." Then, a message came through. No image. No symbol, only text written in every known language across the galaxy. "Identify the violators." Jiltak stepped forward. "Send a reply. Tell them it was a mistake." Trevik looked uncertain. "What if they don't care?" Marn spoke up. "We should try." They sent a message. "We apologize. The scan was an accident. The landing attempt was unauthorized. We request peace." For several minutes there was nothing. Then another message came. "Request denied. Protocol in effect. Judgment active." Trevik's heart sank. "They're not here to talk." The dark human ship moved. Not fast, but with purpose. Its engines were silent. No lights, no sound. Only a deep vibration that spread through space like a storm, without thunder. Dr. Ellen, the human scientist from the Mars colony, was the only one who wasn't surprised. She watched from the back of the room and said quietly, "This is Earth's second wave." Marn turned. "What do you mean?" "Elites, shadows, the ones who stayed hidden after the wars," Ellen replied. "They left Earth long ago, built new ships in deep space. We thought they were gone." Jaltak narrowed his eyes. "Then why come now?" Ellen looked toward the human ship. "Because Nemesis woke up. And when Nemesis wakes, it sends the signal." Trevik asked, "What kind of signal?" Ellen's voice was soft. "One that says, 'The galaxy crossed the line.'" All nearby systems went on high alert. Fleets were called back. Stations evacuated. Even pirate groups began to flee the region. The human warship did not chase them. Instead, it scanned the station. Sensors screamed with power levels higher than anything ever recorded. "Captain," Marn said urgently, "it's not locking weapons. But it's watching us." Trevik stood still. "It's looking for who touched the ship." They didn't have to wait long. Another message came, this one colder, sharper. "One of you broke the seal. One of you violated sacred ground. Identify, or all suffer." The crew turned to Trevik. "It was me," he said softly. "I gave the order to scan Nemesis." Marn grabbed his arm. "No, don't tell them." Trevik pulled away. "If I don't, they'll burn everything." He walked to the comm panel. "My name is Captain Trevik of the Uliari Defense Station. I ordered the scan. No one else is responsible." A pause. Silence. Then the ship responded, logged, noted, judgment reserved. That night, the human ship launched a small probe. It wasn't a weapon. It moved slowly and docked with Nemesis. And when it did, something terrifying happened. The old ship began to change. Plates opened. Weapons that had been silent for 200 years began to glow. Long-dead systems rebooted. A huge symbol appeared across the hull. It was the Earth emblem, 3 stars, and a broken sword. Ellen gasped. "That's the seal of the Terran Final Command." Trevik asked, "What does that mean?" She replied, "It means Earth is ready." One more message came through before dawn. This one had voice, a real voice, rough, human, tired, but filled with power. "This galaxy made its choice," the voice said. "You touched what you were told not to. You opened a gate." No one spoke. The voice continued. "The first warning was ignored. The second warning was punished. This is the third call." Trevik stepped forward. "What does the third call mean?" There was a pause. Then the voice answered, "It means we're back." Within hours, a dozen other Terran ships arrived. Each one different, some shaped like knives, some like broken towers, some like burning meteors. They took no action. Just floated information around Nemesis. The stars no longer looked peaceful. They looked afraid. Marn whispered, What do we do now? Trevik didn't answer, because deep down, he knew this wasn't a war, this wasn't revenge, this was a reminder that humanity had never truly left. They just waited. And now, they had returned not as soldiers, but as judges, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The space around the ancient human ship had gone quiet, too quiet. All trade traffic vanished, scout fleets withdrew. Even the pirates left without a word. On the station, Captain Trevik stood at the viewing deck. His eyes were fixed on the Terran. Ship Nemesis. The black warship floated still, its red lights glowing like dying stars. Around it, more human ships had arrived. They were all different. Some looked like daggers, others like broken towers. But none of them made a sound. Marn, standing beside him, whispered, "Why are they not attacking?" Trevik shook his head. "They don't need to." Behind them, the doors opened. Dr. Ellen entered, holding a data pad. Her face was pale. The message they sent last night. She began, "We finally decoded the full sequence." Trevik turned. What did it say? She looked up slowly. It said, "Consequence Protocol, Phase 1 complete. Awaiting review." Marn frowned. "What does that mean?" Ellen tapped the screen. "It means this isn't just punishment. It's a process." Hours passed. The station remained on high alert, but no attack came. No warning. No contact. Until the system shut down. Every screen blinked off. Power died. Gravity failed. Lights went black. Crew members floated in the dark, grabbing onto rails and walls. "What's happening?" Marn yelled. Trevik grabbed the emergency rail. "Emergency power now." Red lights flickered to life, dim and cold. One screen turned back on. Only one. It showed a countdown. Consequence Protocol, Phase 2, commencing in 6 minutes. Panic spread across the station. Jeltak stormed into the control room. "What did you do?" he shouted. Trevik turned to him. "We haven't done anything since the scan." Jeltak pointed at the screen. "Then why are they counting down?" Ellen looked grim, because they already made their decision. With 3 minutes left, a new screen turned on. It showed a map: stars, planets, stations. Then 5 locations lit up in red. Trevik leaned forward. "Those are major fleet zones." Ellen nodded. Terran systems flagged them as complicit. Those ships were near the area when Nemesis was scanned. Earth's protocol seems to treat that as a threat. Marn's voice cracked. "They're going to wipe out 5 fleets?" Jeltak barked. "That's impossible. They don't have enough firepower." Trevik's voice was calm but cold. "They don't need firepower. They have Nemesis." The countdown hit 0. Nothing happened. For 3 long seconds. Everyone waited. Then, on the screen, 5 red dots blinked once and disappeared. No sound. No blast. No warning. Just gone. Ellen stepped back, eyes wide. "They erased them," Trevik whispered. "With what?" "I don't know," she said. "There are no known weapons that do that." Marn checked her station. "There's no debris. No heat, no radiation. They didn't destroy those fleets," Ellen said. "They removed them from space." A new message appeared. Consequence Protocol, Phase 2 complete. Phase 3 restoration assessment. Jeltak shouted, "Restoration? They think they can decide what lives and what dies?" No one answered. Trevik sat down. "This is not war, it's judgment." Later that evening, another Terran ship arrived, different from the others. It was smaller, almost beautiful in shape, sleek, silent. A white light pulsed from its core. The station scanners couldn't identify it. The systems couldn't track it. But somehow, it felt different. "This one doesn't look like a warship," Marn said. Trevik nodded. "No, this one's a judge." The ship sent a signal. It wasn't a message. It was a scan. Blue light passed through the station. People froze in place. Time didn't stop, but it felt like it did. The scan touched every wall, every person, every file, every secret. When it was done, the ship sent one line: assessment underway. Await results. Ellen looked shaken. They're watching us, all of us, Trevik asked. Can we be forgiven? Hours passed, no word. No action. Just waiting. Finally, the ship responded. Station 42 Delta, minor violation. Cooperation detected. Judgment spared, Trevik exhaled. Marn let out a deep breath. Jaltak said nothing, but then another line appeared. Warning logged. Second offense equals erasure. Trevik looked up at the screen. We only get one chance. But others were not so lucky. Across the sector, other stations received different messages. Some were warned, some were erased. The Terran fleet moved without orders. No talks. No second chances. They didn't conquer. They didn't explain. They just acted. On one mining moon, a greedy syndicate had tried to sell data stolen from Nemesis. That moon vanished. On another station, someone fired a probe toward the Terran fleet. That station turned to ice. And through it all, Earth said nothing. Not a word. Only the consequence protocol continued, cold, exact, unstoppable. Trevik stood again at the observation deck. The Terran Judge ship had now moved beside Nemesis. The stars felt darker than ever. Marn joined him. She said, "You were right. This wasn't war. It was a test." Trevik nodded. "And we failed." Ellen walked in, holding a new report. She said, "Earth never truly left. They became silent watchers. Every Terran relic is connected. They've been listening this whole time." Marn turned to her. "Why now?" "Because someone broke the silence," Ellen replied. "And the silence was the only protection we had." A final message came from Earth's fleet, one that went to every system in the galaxy. It read, "The consequence protocol remains active. Do not touch our dead. Do not scan our silence. Let the warning speak for itself." Then, just as quietly as they had come, the Terran ships turned. One by one, they jumped into deep space. Nemesis remained, still watching, still waiting, because consequence never ends. It only sleeps. The station was dark. Only a few lights blinked on the control panels. Captain Trevik sat alone in his office, staring at a worn data chip. Marn knocked and entered quietly. "Captain, you asked for this file?" Trevik nodded. "Yes, from the archives of Earth." Marn looked at the chip. "You really want to know the truth?" Trevik's eyes were tired. "We need to, if we want to survive." She sat beside him as the data loaded. The screen flickered to life. A voice began to speak, old, mechanical, but clear. "This is Earth Final Command, year 2147. Trevik leaned forward. The voice told a story. A war unlike any other. The humans had fought a war that had lasted decades. Not against aliens, but against themselves. A civil war of destruction, the voice said. Earth was divided. Nations broke apart. Cities burned. Technology turned against its makers. Marn frowned. "I thought Earth was united." Trevik shook his head. "No, the records were hidden. Covered up," the voice continued. "In desperation, the Earth Command created weapons to end the war quickly. They built ships like Nemesis. Ships that could destroy whole planets." Ellen, who had joined them quietly, gasped. "That's why Nemesis is so powerful." The data showed images destroyed. Cities, burning skies, millions lost. But the war never ended, the voice said. It only paused. The weapons were too dangerous. So Earth sealed them away. Trevik looked down. "They locked away Nemesis and the others?" "Yes," the voice replied. "And sent them into deep space, to wait." Marn's voice was soft. "They didn't want to fight anymore. But they never stopped preparing." Suddenly, the screen showed a message. A warning from Earth Command. If this message is received, It means the seals have been broken. If the ships awaken, the war will restart. All species must beware. Trevik closed his eyes. So the humans never left. Ellen nodded. They waited, hidden, watching. Marn looked at the captain. But why now? Why send the consequence protocol? Trevik answered, because someone broke the silence. Someone touched the forbidden ship. The screen flickered again. This time, a secret recording played. A human commander's voice. We must protect Earth's legacy. We cannot allow others to misuse our weapons. If necessary, we will punish. Marn said, Punish who? Everyone? Anyone who crosses the line, Trevik said. Anyone who tries to take what does not belong to them. Ellen added, the old war wasn't just about fighting. It was about control. About fear. The voice paused, then whispered, We do not want to fight again. But we will. Trevik looked at his crew. This is why Nemesis exists. It's not just a ship, it's a guardian, Marn shivered. A guardian that kills, Ellen nodded. Warning that punishes. Trevik stood. And now it's awake. Outside the station, the stars burned cold. The forbidden human ship hovered silently. The galaxy had learned the truth, and it was terrified. The silence was broken by a deep rumble shaking the station. Captain Trevik rushed to the command deck, where alarms blared and red lights flickered. What's happening? Marn shouted, struggling to keep control of the console. Trevik's eyes were sharp. The Terran ships, they're moving. Nemesis has given the order. Marn swallowed hard. Are they attacking? Before anyone could answer, a message appeared on every screen. Judgment begins now. All violators will be reckoned. Vieltak paced angrily. We warned them. We begged for peace. Trevik clenched his fists. Warnings don't matter anymore. They believe the war has returned. Outside the station, the ancient human ship Nemesis awoke fully. Energy poured from its hull in brilliant waves. The strange symbols glowed fiercely. Ships. Around it formed a deadly formation. Marn's voice trembled. This is not a drill. They're preparing to strike. Suddenly, the station's long-range sensors detected dozens of incoming objects. Incoming missiles. Yelled a technician, Dr. Vic. Ordered. Activate defenses. Prepare for impact. Explosions rocked the station's shields. Hold the line. Trevik shouted. But then, something strange happened. The missiles stopped mid-flight, and then, with no warning, they vanished. Marn stared at the screen. They were stopped. By the Terran ships themselves? A voice echoed across all comms. Deep. Cold and final. Your punishment is not destruction. It is reckoning. Ellen's eyes widened. They don't want to destroy us, yet. Trevik nodded. They want us to understand. Suddenly, a nearby system blinked out of existence. Jaltak gasped. Another fleet erased. Marn whispered, They don't fight like we do, they erase. The station's comms buzzed. A hidden message appeared from within the Terran fleet. For those who repent, mercy awaits. For those who resist, oblivion. Trevik looked at Marn. We have to act fast. Marn's hands flew over the console. I'm opening a channel to Nemesis. Maybe we can negotiate. The screen flickered. A single phrase appeared. Negotiation not permitted. Judgment final. Trevik clenched his jaw. Then we have no choice. That night, the station's crew gathered. Jaltak spoke quietly. This is not just about us. It's about the whole galaxy. Ellen nodded. Earth left behind a warning. Now it's the reckoning. Trevik stood. If we want to survive, we must find the reason behind their fury. Marn added. And stop it. Suddenly, the station shook violently. Brace for impact. Trevik yelled. A shockwave hit them, a pulse of energy, cold and strong. Lights died again. The station trembled. Trevik gritted his teeth. The reckoning has begun. Days passed with tense silence broken only by warnings. No new attacks. Number. New messages. Then a distress signal came from a remote outpost. They survived an attack, Marn said. We need to know how. Trevik sent a team immediately. When they returned, they brought news. The outpost found a way to disrupt the Terran energy pulses, the lead officer reported. It's a small victory. Ellen smiled faintly. There is hope. Trevik nodded. Slowly, we must find more hope before the reckoning ends. Outside the station, Nemesis pulsed once more. The ancient ship was ready. The galaxy held its breath. Because when humanity's judgment falls, no one can hide. No one can escape. And the reckoning will change everything. The space station felt colder than ever. Outside, the black silhouette of Nemesis floated silently, its red lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Captain Trevik stood alone on the observation deck, staring into the void. Marn entered quietly. Captain, we received a new transmission. Trevik didn't turn. From Nemesis? She nodded. Yes, and it's different this time. On the main screen, strange symbols appeared. Then, a voice filled the room. Deep, calm, and ancient. This is Earth Final Command. The last message. Trevik's heart tightened. Play it. The voice continued. We built Nemesis to protect, to judge, and to warn. But our methods were harsh, our silence brutal. Marn asked, what are they saying? Ellen, standing nearby, explained, they admit the consequences were severe, but necessary. The voice went on. We created the consequence protocol to stop wars before they began, to erase threats without battle. Jeltak stepped forward, but that made them judges executioners. The voice responded, judgment is never easy. But the galaxy chose to forget our warnings. They touched what was forbidden. Trevik clenched his fists. So what now? The voice answered slowly. Now we offer a choice. Repentance or oblivion. Change or destruction. The room was silent. Then, the voice softened. This is our final message. We will wait. We will watch, but if the past repeats, the reckoning will end. Suddenly, the screen went dark. Minutes passed in tense silence. Then Nemesis lights dimmed. Its form blurred as it vanished in a flash. Marn whispered, they left. Trevik exhaled. For now. Ellen smiled faintly. They want peace. Jeltak nodded. But on their terms. Trevik looked out at the stars. We must learn from this, or be ready when the final message comes again. Weeks later, life slowly returned. Trade resumed. Fleets moved cautiously. But the memory of Nemesis remained. Marn said softly, the galaxy was warned. Trevik agreed. And now it must be ready. Ellen added, the truth about Earth, the old war, the consequence protocol, it all changes how we see the universe. Jeltak smiled sadly. A new era begins. But the shadow of the past will never fade. In the silence of space, a distant star blinked once more, a reminder, a promise, that humanity's final message was not the end. It was only the beginning.